And suddenly I feel like maybe I can let it go.
There's nothing you can do to change that this morning. Hell does exist. It is a place, it is somewhere, and it awaits those that, my friend, leave this world.
I don't engage anymore.
Welcome to the show, folks. Glad to have you here. Guys, the topic of today's show, I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers or something. The topic of today's show is the Veterans Comedy Showcase.
And welcome to the Veterans Comedy Showcase.
Which took place on Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. You're a beautiful crowd. And there is one ugly bastard.
And I tell you guys, I've been really busy with this show. You haven't seen me do videos in a while because I've been putting together this comedy show, right? I was organizing the show with my buddy Chris Palmatessa.
I want to take a second here to first of all thank Chris Palmatessa, this gentleman right in front of me, for coming up with the show.
I was nervous going up to it, because I haven't done like stand-up comedy in a while, and I was never really that great at it.
Is anybody else besides me losing sleep knowing that murderer Alec Baldwin is still on the loose? Just call me Doug. Guys, thank you very much.
But I found myself, I was going to have to get on stage and tell jokes, sort of,
Starting to think I should have brought jokes.
So it was like a little nerve-wracking, but I kept a vision in my head. It's a special day. My dad was a veteran.
However, my dad was a veteran. He can't be here tonight. It's not what you think. He's just dead.
Who passed away, and I was like doing it for him as a tribute to him. He got an applause, by the way, from the crowd that night.
Anyway, guys, if you'll indulge me, please give it up for my favorite veteran, my dad, Major Henry Sheridan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So even up to the day of the show, I was kind of doubting myself and feeling a little in over my head. Then the first comic, Lee Smith, came in. And I actually think I got to give him credit for making me feel a little bit more comfortable. He was a friendly guy. He was a very funny guy. And I was like, this is going to be a good night, I hope people come. And people did come. A whole lot of people came, actually. And I wanted to get up there and just kind of try to be funny a little bit. Actually, I was kind of channeling my inner David Letterman, to be honest. If you look at the video, I'm kind of channeling my inner David Letterman as like a show host, like a talk show host or something, So I was kind of attacking the thing like a talk show monologue. Once all the other comedians started coming in, I just got more and more comfortable. And by the time showtime came around, no nerves. I got up there and I kicked off with the show, And I haven't done stand-up comedy in a while, and I can't believe I went on stage and told jokes and people laughed at them. That's kind of a first. So that was different. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shout out Seiko. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't feel a whole lot of confidence a lot of the times, and I don't feel proud of myself a lot of the times. I kind of got like whatever, just a bunch of stupid thoughts in my head sometimes. But having put this show together and for it turning out like it did, I felt accomplished. Maybe for the first time in my whole life. I felt accomplished. It was a great show. It was a very, very great Veterans Day celebration. The comedians were amazing, and the crowd was amazing. They were respectful to the comics for the most part. Sometimes we have to tell them to, shut the fuck up a little bit. Show us a little respect, you know what I'm saying? Let me go through the list here. First of all, Chris Palmatessa.
I was in the United States Marine Corps for 6 years. Awesome.
And next on the card was a very funny guy, Josh Francis.
There's just a note card up here that says, I don't have insurance, so I'm looking for a friend with benefits. So get prepared to hear that joke later on. I just ruined somebody's set.
I already did it.
Oh, he already did it? Oh, he did it? Damn, that's what happens when you're late to things. Follow me on Instagram. It's Josh Francis Comedy. Thank you guys so much. Yay.
I was really looking forward to seeing him. Who else was on that fucking show? There was Creighton Beyer.
My name is Creighton Beyer. You guys have been awesome. Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for your host.
I think I was talking about Creighton, who was kind enough to, what did he do? Oh yeah, he told me I looked like a Metallica roadie.
Also, give it for Doug, by the way. Okay, like, Doug is not a veteran. Doug is not a veteran, but he definitely was a roadie for Metallica at some point in time. Like, he had to have been.
Best compliment I've ever gotten, man. That's pretty cool. And then there was Jack O'Sullivan.
Mr. Jack O'Sullivan.
How we doing, guys?
Who I had just met that night. Very, very nice guy. By the way, all these freaking comedians serve bravely for the country, and they're nice, and they're funny. They were a great crew. Jack O'Sullivan was there. I think I mentioned Josh Francis, who I was really interested in seeing. There were like a few people who were scheduled for the show, but kind of last minute couldn't make it.
I want to give a special shout out to some people who wanted to be here but couldn't. Mr. Phil Wigfall, Rob Collert, Valerie Salvain, and Vicki Wilson. Apparently they have all joined the Space Force and are doing a tour of duty at the Death Star. Ridiculous.
And then, I don't know, like at some point when I was high, or I heard that like there may be another performer coming in, but I just kind of like, I forgot about it, you know, because I was high, right? So like, I'm very familiar with the card, you know, I made the flyers and everything. And so I see all the comedians that are on the show. And then all of a sudden I see this other fella.
Give it up for Phil Tellini.
I'm like, who's that guy?
I am Jack's trans girlfriend.
Did he ambush the show? But no, this guy was a vet that I'm not sure if I got a chance to meet, but that was a pleasant surprise. JP Cower.
He's a United States Navy veteran, Mr. J.P. Cower.
Another round of applause for Chris Palmatesta.
Man, there's something really cool about JP in that he does not give a fuck, and it's a beautiful thing to watch, man.
You ever blown a tranny at 4 o'clock at a truck stop?
Like, I think there's an art to it, and I think it sometimes being on stage and getting and just like shocking people with like, did he just say that? And not getting laughs, even getting silence. That there's like an art to that. I think what he does is great. There's a lot of things up here now about free speech and comedy, but you know, bottom line, everybody has a freedom of speech, especially at a comedy show, you know? I think that sometimes making people feel a tad uncomfortable is even better than getting a laugh, because possibly then you provoke thought and maybe get around to a laugh, you know? Anyway, JP freaking is awesome, man. And he should probably be canceled. Let me talk about Chris Palmatesta's comedy. I met Chris on the first night he ever did stand-up on an open mic at Gypsy Moon. So it was also kind of our anniversary. And he was just like this ultra put together dude, clean cut, you know, Marine veteran and everything, right? And then he gets on the stage and proceeds to tell the dirtiest masturbation jokes and the funniest masturbation jokes ever. And he won my heart. He won my heart that very first night. My God. And he's still got, he didn't have to change much of a thing, man. He's still so great. and shocking and hilarious. And it was so great. We both started doing stand-up comedy like a year ago, and then a year later, here we are at this Vet Show. It was really cool. And I feel like I'm forgetting a comedian. Man, I hope it isn't a person of color. I'm going to be fucked. That all brings us to the show's closer. Wow, these new cans are fantastic. Like, I can hear it every time my chair squeaks. And then we had our closer, the last comedian to perform, Lee Smith.
Mr. fucking Lee Smith!
The first man to get to the show, and the guy who closed out the entire thing with a great, I'm pretty sure it was about a half hour straight up comedy. And this guy could have gone on for another half hour, I think. Lee Smith is incredibly talented, and I don't know, man. You know just how some people, they got it, right? They just got it. And Lee Smith seems like one of those guys. All of these guys I could see like continuing to excel at stand-up comedy and be on TV or freaking Saturday Night Live someday, you know? It was such a great special show. So on the monologue, I had a plan, right? If my jokes started to fall flat, I had jokes in my pocket ready to go on index cards. This is like an emergency shoot type of situation if I'm falling. I pulled that off during the opening of the show.
Oh. I brought jokes. I used to do stand-up comedy. You guys want to hear some jokes?
So, you know, I had jokes ready to go. I talked about how I like to intimidate voters.
I did not vote. I did, however, spend all day at the polls intimidating voters. Who did I intimidate? Every single one of them. I don't have like a party allegiance or anything. I just get a real kick out of intimidating voters. Anyway, I realize that every vote counts. Maybe I should have voted, but I don't think enough credit is given to the good folks going to the polls intimidating voters.
Yeah, it's really just kind of a hobby this time of the year. So these comedy shows, they kind of ebb and flow. Like when I first got up there, the crowd was kind of talking a little bit, you know. I get it. It kind of takes a little while for the crowd to settle. And then they got like quieter and more responsive to the act and everything. And then at the end of my monologue, I start talking about the Warrior Angel Foundation. And I heard the crowd volume start to raise. People were starting to chatter again a little bit loud at the bar, right?
The Warrior Angel Foundation specializes in treating veterans with traumatic... How could you guys speak up on talking about this shit? What do you hate America shit? The Warrior Angel Foundation, folks. The Warrior Angel Foundation.
Yeah, you got to show a little respect, man. It was a great crowd. The best, most polite, courteous, and charitable crowd that I've seen at Gypsy Moon ever. And that Veterans Showcase was one of the greatest days of my life, man. Anyway, wrapping it up with the Veterans Show. Thank you all the veterans to allow me to host that show. And it was a great night. I had a blast. Freaking love all you guys, man. I'll probably be plugging their social medias around here. So, like, follow them. Follow them. I don't like to ask people to follow me, really. I mean, if you want to, go ahead. But, like, I don't like it when people get on YouTube and they go subscribe and ring that notification bell. I'm never going to ask you to ring a bell, okay? But these other comedians, I will say, ring the bell for them and subscribe to them and follow them like stalkers because they're really funny. And thank you again to Gypsy Moon Vape and Brews, which is both my cheers and my fortress of solitude somehow.